What happens when the output is off? When does the AI coworker make a poor call? Or when does it introduce bias? Do we then treat it like a faulty tool? Or do we treat it like an employee who needs accountability? The leadership playbook most of us were trained on is human-centered, but now we're being asked to manage systems that don't have feelings, they don't have intuition, and it creates a paradox. High-performing leaders are being asked to apply emotional intelligence to something that does not feel. So what does leadership mean when your team isn't entirely human? Welcome to the Future Ready Leader podcast, where we explore the strategies, the mindsets, and the innovations that are shaping leaders like you for tomorrow. I'm Afshin, Executive Leadership Advisor and CEO of the Phoenix Coaching Company, and I'm here to help you amplify your leadership impact, navigate change with confidence, and create lasting growth in your organization and in yourself. Each episode will dive into leadership insights, real-world experiences, and transformative ideas to help professionals like yourself unlock your full potential. So if you're ready to future-proof your leadership and inspire meaningful change, let's get started. Welcome to the Future Ready Leader podcast, where we explore what it really takes to lead with clarity and courage and care in today's complex world. I'm Afshin, the founder of the Phoenix Coaching Company, and we help leaders navigate change with resilience and impact, especially when the future of leadership is changing right under our feet. Today's episode is provocative and even may feel futuristic. It might even be a bit uncomfortable, but it is very real. We are calling it the first time I fired an AI. So let's start here. The line between tools and teammates is blurring. We're no longer just using AI for analytics or as chatbots or automation. In some teams, AI agents are now making decisions, triaging customer inquiries, generating insights, even leading project components. So not assisting, doing. And according to a 2024 Deloitte study, over 32% of large organizations report that AI agents are functioning in roles traditionally held by humans. So that's not the future. That's right now. So what happens when the output is off? When does the AI coworker make a poor call? Or when does it introduce bias? Do we then treat it like a faulty tool? Or do we treat it like an employee who needs accountability? This is where things get really interesting. The leadership playbook most of us were trained on is human-centered. So we were taught to coach, to listen, to empathize, but now we're being asked to manage systems that don't have feelings, they don't have intuition, and it creates a paradox. High-performing leaders are being asked to apply emotional intelligence to something that does not feel. So what does leadership mean when your team isn't entirely human? Let me share a real moment. A client was running a pilot project using an AI agent to recommend employee recognition messages. It learned from prior Slack threads and manager reviews, and all seemed fine until a few awkward, even offensive messages popped up. One suggested a woman was great at bringing snacks to meetings. Turns out the AI had scraped a post from a team birthday celebration. The client called and said, "We have to turn this off." But my response was different. I thought to myself, no, perhaps you need to let it go. Why? Because if this was an employee making the same mistake repeatedly, it would warrant coaching. It would warrant escalation and perhaps even termination. And AI is not different. The accountability framework has to evolve. Here's the tension. AI doesn't get tired. It doesn't resist feedback, but it also doesn't evolve unless we intervene. It will never ask, was this inclusive? It will only ask, was this accurate based on prior data? And this means leaders now carry the burden of emotional labor and computational oversight. And this is where AI-centered empathy comes in. Not empathy for the agent, but for the people who have been impacted by what the agent is producing. If managing people is already stretching your capacity, what happens when you're also managing non-human systems? This is why we've created the Leadership Vitality Scorecard, a free tool to check in on how you're showing up right now. Because your own clarity and energy are the foundation for leading well in a post-human team. You'll find a link in the description box. So what does this mean for leaders now? Well, leaders can no longer default to human-centered frameworks. That doesn't mean abandoning them. It means expanding them, because now we need, for example, AI accountability frameworks where we look into who owns the outputs, who audits them. We also need bias interventions, because while bias can't be fired, it can be debugged and retrained. We also need feedback loops, because code doesn't improve through coaching, but it does improve through engineering, and leaders need to facilitate that bridge. Furthermore, clear role definitions will be crucial. Asking whether the tool is an assistant or an advisor or a decision maker, that changes everything. And the maintenance of psychological safety is crucial, because we need to be ensuring that employees know when AI is involved and how to raise concerns safely and with impact. At the Phoenix Coaching Company, our work centers on preparing leaders to thrive in this new emerging frontier. We believe emotional intelligence is still non-negotiable, and technical fluency is now a leadership currency. And finally, safety, clarity, and trust must exist for humans, even when some of the team isn't human. We're developing solutions that help senior leaders, HR teams, and organizations lead with both logic and humanity, embed ethical AI use across leadership culture, and build the confidence to say, this isn't working when the system is failing, because it will. And when it does, you don't need to panic. You need to lead. And if you've ever wondered what leadership means when your team isn't all human, this episode was for you. Explore our full suite of leadership solutions at the link in the show notes, or book a free call with me, and we can talk about how you can lead at the intersection of tech and trust. Until next time, keep leading with clarity, with courage, and care. I'm Afshin, and this has been the Future Ready Leader.